on the station that's working for you. You're watching Fox 4 News at 6.
Trial still on. A judge refuses to dismiss the criminal case against Missouri Governor Eric Greitens. But with that ruling in St. Louis today, a warning from the judge. I'm John Holt.
I'm Lauren Halifax. The judge told the governor's defense team and the prosecutors to play fair. The judge said the prosecution has not been fair in its dealings with the defense. He said even though the invasion of privacy case is going forward, dismissing the case is still an option on the table. Greitens is facing a felony invasion of privacy charge relating to the affair he had before he was governor. Right now, that trial is still scheduled to start on May 14th. Now, some lawmakers in Jefferson City have called on the governor to step down. That's something he still says he will not do.
So the State House buzz continues in Jeff City, both sides of the aisle to the possibility of impeachment proceedings. Fox 4 Shannon O'Brien at the state capitol tonight with where things stand. Shannon?
No matter what happens in court or the Attorney General's investigation into Governor Greitens' nonprofit, the folks here on Capitol Hill will continue to look into whether the allegations against Greitens rise to the level of impeachment. For weeks now, a special committee has been looking into the allegations against Greitens by a woman with whom he had an affair. Legislators on the committee will ultimately determine whether or not they believe Greitens' actions make him eligible for impeachment. The way it is now, that recommendation will go to the full House for a vote, but a controversial resolution has been proposed that would allow the committee to decide without taking it to a full vote. It just adds to all the controversy swirling around the governor. With Jeff City in crisis, Senate President Pro Tem Ron Richards says he may take a step back and hold bills so Governor Greitens cannot sign off on them.
He can't sign them unless I sign them. So, if the minority leader decides it's in the best interest for the Senate, we will just leave that for another day, and I probably would I'd defer to her wishes.
Richard says his goal is to keep the process moving, so he would sign a few bills up now which support Missouri taxpayers. But he has no problem holding most for a couple of weeks or a month until the issues with the governor shake out. There have been calls for Governor Greitens to resign by people in both parties in multiple branches of government. But as for now, Greitens is digging his heels in. He says he does not believe he has done anything wrong that would warrant him leaving his office. Shannon O'Brien, Fox 4 News.
Shannon, thanks. We have continuing coverage of the investigation into Governor Greitens. Just check out fox4kc.com/Greitens.
Another big story happening tonight. A man who is tasked with protecting kids at school is now charged with violating them. 57-year-old Michael English Sr. He's accused of having sexual contact with middle school students while he worked as a school resource officer. Fox 4's Kara Moshik is live at the Wyandotte County Courthouse in KCK with more. Kara?
Michael English Sr. is actually accused of having inappropriate conduct over a several-month period with at least 3 teenagers while he was working as a school resource officer in the KCK district. Prosecutors say it was back on March the 21st that a parent tipped off KCK police that a USD 500 police officer was sexually involved with a child. The KCK Police Department served warrants at West Middle School on April the 2nd, and today Wyandotte County District Attorney Mark Dupree confirming those warrants led to the charges filed today. Mark English Sr. facing 3 counts of indecent liberties with a child ages 14 to 16, with the offenses happening between January and March of this year on 3 different teenagers.
And even if there is one like in this situation that may put himself and put the uniform in bad light, there are hundreds of thousands of others who disapprove of this foolishness and wants to do everything in their power to make sure that the uniform is not stained because of a foolish act.
Investigators do say it is possible there are more victims and encourage anyone with concerns to call KCK police. Michael English Sr. had been a police officer with USD 500 since 2015, and prior to that worked as a school security officer in the district. He is expected to turn himself into authorities here and be held on a $100,000 bond. Kara Moshik, Fox 4 News.
New tonight, 2 teens face murder charges in the death of a 15-year-old. The 16-year-olds are charged in Jackson County in the death of Jesus Reyes. Reyes shot and killed Monday near Truman Road and Hardesty in Kansas City. Since the suspects are minors, their names are not being released. Police say the 2 are in custody. Another teen was also wounded in that incident.
The parents of a baby boy who died at a Eudora daycare are now suing the operators of the daycare. 9-month-old Oliver Ortiz died in September of 2016 at Sunshine Kids Group Daycare Home. A worker at the daycare named Carity Buchhorn is now charged in his death. The coroner ruled that the little boy died from blunt force trauma to the head and the stomach. Today, Oliver's parents filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the daycare owners and operators Gina and Morgan Eric Brunton. The daycare closed shortly after the boy died.
4 children died in a house fire at the Lake of the Ozarks. The 4 brothers were home alone early this morning when the house caught fire. It's in Lake Ozark, about 130 miles southeast of Kansas City. The boys 14, 8, 5, and 4. Firefighters believe they may never know what caused the fire. The damage is so extensive, investigators believe they have no reason to think that the fire was set on purpose. Mike Sharp is no longer the sheriff of Jackson County. His resignation went into effect this afternoon. Sharp announcing that resignation yesterday after the release of court documents detailing a sexual and financial relationship he had with an employee who sued the county 2 years ago. In a statement, Sharp admitted he had allowed his judgment as sheriff to be clouded by his personal feelings. The county executive will now name an interim sheriff.
The Kansas Health Department's reporting some new cases of measles here in the metro. 14 confirmed cases so far in Johnson County. We also have 3 in Lynn County and 1 in Miami County. Health officials say these cases are not related to the 4 cases reported in Kansas City, Missouri. Kansas City may soon get a big upgrade. It could save taxpayer money, make your drive a little safer, and just improve the area overall. Fox 4's Alana LaFleur is live from Troost Avenue, one of the areas that could really benefit from this. Alana?
Lauren, Kansas City started installing LED lights in 2011. The lights over here on Troost are high-pressure sodium lights. If the city were to replace them with LEDs and lights like this one all over the city, it's estimated that it would save millions of dollars in costs and energy. Between the streetcar, digital kiosks, and smart centers on interactive streetlights, downtown Kansas City has earned its title as a smart city. These lights have data analysis points on top that the city's chief innovation officer, Bob Bennett, says are making an impact.
In the case of our pothole predictor, we are at the point today where we can predict with about an 85-degree level of certainty where a pothole is likely to form.
If the city were to get more of these smart LED lights, Bennett says the city would have more data to work with and could take more preventative action. Today, the Kansas City, Missouri City Council was presented with information about adding LED street lighting on the east side from Phillips Lighting. Mahmoud Hajian with the Public Works Street Lighting Program says he'd like to see all the city's 95,000 lights switch to LEDs.
The energy savings benefits are for the system is approximately about 50 to 60%. Of what we're paying today. We're paying about $6 million in energy costs.
And about $5 million in maintenance a year. Hajian says maintenance costs would also decrease if lights like this were replaced with smart LEDs. The current LEDs dim and brighten based on the number of people around, an option that would also be added to any new installations. That public safety aspect also comes with environmental benefits.
We promised our citizens in 2005 with an environmental compact that by 2020 we would get to 30% less of our greenhouse gas emissions by that target year. LED lights are a way for us to start to approach those numbers.
A request for proposals for LED lighting projects is expected to go out in the middle of next month. Different companies would present their plans to the city council, and then the city council would have to vote on it before anything went through. Public Works says if they replaced all the lights in the city with LEDs, it would cost about $5 million. Alana LaFleur, Fox 4 News.
Kansas Attorney General Derek Schmidt submits a new school funding law to the state Supreme Court for its review. Lawmakers faced an April 30th deadline to find more money for the state school system. The governor signed the school finance law earlier this week. Oral argument on whether the package is adequate scheduled for next month. A popular Westport restaurant shut down for 2 weeks. The latest on what health inspectors are up to there.
A game changer for fans, the rule being done away with by the NCAA. Fox 4 News at 6 continues.